Oh. Yo, we're live already, just so you know. So don't talk about how much you hated WWE and how much you loved AEW. Don't do it yet. They're listening, Abe. Don't do it yet. Yo, this is gonna be a wild show. I didn't send you the topics on purpose because I want your complete unfiltered responses to some of
Yo,
these things. I don't even
first
want to
off,
do the order anymore. I want to jump right into what I wanted to talk about.
first off, can we acknowledge your Marky Mark shirt right now? Oof.
Bro, I'm not see
Oof.
already. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it then. No, see, this is what the problem with America and Americans, specifically the younger generation, is today. See, they make fun of us all the time, mate. They call millennials marks, and they say that we're punks that fall in love with Harry Potter and Star Wars and crazy shit. When art is made well, it is up to us to support it. And I purchased AEW pay-per-view this weekend, and I pay for Peacock, so was able to watch NXT Battleground. And at the end of the day, my money was all worth it at the end of the day. And so listen, there's so much to talk about, Abe. There really is. I think we got to go to the top of the thing. We got to talk about what's going on with WWE trashing every single promotion out there. AEW counter program, TNA Trick beats one of the most over TNA wrestlers of the last 2 decades, maybe decade. Matt Hardy was pretty over it when he was doing the broken gimmick. And then last night on air, WWE reveals that Vikingo will defend the title, the mega title, AAA's mega title, against Chad Gable at Worlds Collide. The problem, Vikingo is not the champion. Alberto Del Rio is the champion, and they're wrestling this weekend. Abe, guess who's going to win? Bro, what is going? WWE had no plans in booking wrestling this weekend. They were all set to go against every single promoter they could. Abe, that's nasty work, Abe. Oof. That's nasty work.
I tell you, man.
Talk about it, brother. What did you think?
Yo, they trying to little bro everybody, man.
Everybody.
Yeah. It reminds me of what's the old boy's name from Friday? The dude that used to just little bro Ice Cube and the other one, the big dude, the bully.
Debo. Yo, they deboed everybody this weekend, Abe. Everybody. Yo,
all right.
Start whichever one you want. Honestly, go ahead.
I was not with Joe Hendry dropping the title, bro. No, man. And let me tell you, this is how nasty it really was. You had the TNA boss in the front row, and you're going to make him drop the title?
Oh, my God. I didn't even register that.
Ugh. Bro, they put the camera on him. They was like, yo, in the TNA, boy, he had the TNA wrestling hat.
Yeah, I didn't even register it happened. I mean, I knew it was there. I saw that, but it didn't hit oh shit. That's like they made the Yankees come lose to the Globetrotters.
Bro, this is the thing. I have to believe now that Joe Hendry is going to be in the WWE super soon. I'm talking before the end of 2025. I have to believe that now. There's no way you're going to tell me that he's going to drop the title to Trick Williams now and still be in TNA for the rest of the year as just Joe Hendry. This is the thing. You work so hard to build this guy up. He becomes an overnight success on the internet, even though he's been doing it for years, right? Overnight success. Shout out to Nick Nemeth, right? Put him way over. So shout out to him. And then all that was 126 days, I think it was, that he was champion, and then you're gonna have him drop the belt to Trick Williams. Listen, Trick is a phenomenal talent. I thought that he was already gonna be on the main roster. He was part of the original Raw on Netflix promotion package, if you remember.
Yep.
So it sounded like he was there, but then I don't know. It seemed like they backtracked a little bit and delayed that. Um, they didn't have room for him really on the NXT brand. So now he's gonna be running TNA. Like, I'm a little confused on how all this is gonna play out. And then where does this leave Joe Hendry? Because guess what? Trick Williams is about to go on a storyline with Mike Santana. Like Mike,
Oh, that's right.
like that's gonna happen next. And then probably Mike Santana, like one of my guys said, is probably gonna get the title from him. So it's like, um, and then I guess you circle back with Mike Santana and Joe Hendry. But what does Joe do at that point? I don't know, bro. It's a
Bro,
little, and this is
it's a
the other
lot.
thing. You missed the opportunity to do Joe Hendry, John Cena. Like, I thought that was what they were building towards.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So did I.
Unless they feel like Joe Hendry doesn't need the title. I just think that Joe wasn't there yet. He wasn't at the Rhea Ripley level yet to where he could be the guy without the title. I
Yeah.
still think that
Oh,
he
yeah.
needed the title.
So did I. So do I. I feel like it wasn't over yet. There was like so much more you could have, done. And here's the other part. Joe Hendry, no, I'm sorry. WWE would have benefited as much, if not more, from a title transition to the company. So you lose the title and you go to the company, right? Because what happens in a title change is everybody talks about it, right? It goes everywhere. Even if you don't watch TNA, you know who wins, who loses a title change, right? So when you put yourself in the situation where you are basically creating all the upward trajectory for the winner in Trick, you're still benefiting because Joe Hendry's name is on all that ink. It's in all that content. And if he is not moving over yet, then why isn't the title on your biggest attraction? And I love Santana. Don't get me wrong. I do. And I think that could be some great work. But at this point, they were flirting with something in Joe Hendry that made it almost seem like competitive to a degree. Obviously WWE and TNA are no longer in the same arena or ballpark anymore. And yet they have helped to establish at least Joe Hendry under the TNA banner as something more serious. My problem though is that you're counter programming AAA. You're doing this with Trick Williams. We all saw what happened with New Japan a few weeks ago or whatever it was. It's all like this thing that you see where it's like WWE acts like Coca-Cola or Walmart and it's just stomping out the competition. And I get it. I'm not up here to say counter programming's unfair. It's the name of the business, right? I'm not going to send Pepsi a bunch of hate mail because they're in every store that Dr. Pepper is in. You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't resonate with the hardcore fans that love the sport as an art. When you see it being treated as a commercial commodity and then they do this the way they do it. At the end of the day though, Abe, what do you think of Trick Williams having a TNA strap, the first ever WWE contracted wrestler to hold the TNA title? What does that mean to you, Abe? What kind of era do you feel like we're in with that?
We're just in a different era, and I feel like, did they do it because they wanted something so drastic to happen to counter AEW's pay-per-view? Like, you start to think about those type of things. I don't know. Like Trick, I guess I want to see what he does with it, and I hope it's not like corny. Like, is he gonna be on NXT every week touting it, and then like maybe pop up at TNA? Because that's gonna be contrary to what Joe Hendry's been doing. Joe
Word.
Hendry's been showing up every week. So how does that work? Unless they feel like Trick will bring in fans to the TNA shows, and to the TNA pay-per-views. I don't know. Like, I guess it's a wait and see.
It definitely
This
is a
this
wait
could
and see.
be this could be genius work. This could be the worst decision ever. I think we have to give it a little bit to see, what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, the match was good. Honestly, the entire Battleground pay-per-view was great, and we're gonna talk about it later. I mean, obviously, we don't have the time to break the full card down with Double or Nothing, Saturday Night Main Event, Raw recap, plus a bunch of little topics spread out. But I do want to talk about what was enjoyed more, by you. And so maybe we can just do that real quick. It doesn't have to be like a full breakdown topic of every single match or every single thing, but just like a pure, honest answer from you, Abe, as the most purest version of your fandom. Which one did you enjoy more?
The Stephanie.
Vicar.
But yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
what a match. What a match.
yeah.
Okay, so was Battleground better than Double or Nothing? Yes or no?
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'm gonna
Mm.
say that it was a different show.
Yo, you're so good at this. You're so good at this.
Two
You'll
different
never let me
shows.
catch you. You'll never let me make you say nothing that you know. Yeah,
It was two different
absolutely right
shows.
though. But you're absolutely right about it. Yeah.
Because and the only thing that not disappointed, but I feel like Obafemi is not given his title run has kind of been lukewarm, bro. I don't know if it's him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's him, and his style. Um, I don't know if his style fits NXT anymore because NXT has a
Mm.
lot of more athletic guys.
Yes.
Um, and he's more of a Bobby Lashley, right? And there
Yes.
isn't somebody like that in NXT other than him. So it's almost like he's in this place where he doesn't belong. He really belongs in the main roster, but I guess where do I don't know. It just seems like his championship run is grown stale.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's so weird because you look at a guy like Obafemi and you think, well, he could stand out in this era of NXT, right? Like you and I would talk about the golden era of the black and gold NXT brand before Vince got his grubby hands on it and colorized the whole thing with fucking Windows paint. And so that era, it's gonna stay in my heart the way ECW does, the way WCW does, the way that all those things that are gone and never coming back in its original form. That's how I will remember it. But NXT is getting good again. It's
Mhm.
been good again for pretty much the entire year since they moved over to the CW. That show has been the most consistent WWE TV programming week to week. No doubt about it, in my opinion. And that said, it's starting to gain that cult following back. There are NXT fans who don't watch WWE. I don't know if you see them or not, but I see them all the time on social media. They have no idea what Austin Theory is doing right now, and they don't care. They don't care what John
You know
Cena's
what?
doing. They don't care what any of them are doing. They
I'm
love that product.
I'm gonna give you so you hit the nail on the head. You know why I say that? Because the reaction that Joe Hendry got at Mania at Royal Rumble was not the reaction he got at NXT
At
Battleground
all.
at all. The pop wasn't as big. It wasn't it wasn't the pop of all pops like the other two.
No, not at all.
And I thought that was weird, but then thinking about your point, it makes sense. The NXT hardcores that were in there, they only watch NXT. They don't watch
That's it.
anything else.
They don't watch anything else. And it's a weird situation when you look at all the other promotions that have their niche fans, right? Their core group of fans. They watch other things though. They're not
Yeah.
only watching TNA. They watch MLW, they watch New Japan, they watch AEW, they watch WWE. Same thing with WWE fans. They're the hardcores that only stick to what they do. And I know this sounds wrong. I don't like to be judgmental like this, but I'm just being honest. They're psychotic. They are the people who tell you they want to kill your dog and your family because you said that AEW was 4 stars and Monday Night Raw was 3. Like, seriously, I've gotten those messages. I'm like, oh God, okay, I'm not messing with those people. But the NXT fans are different. They don't hate other people because of NXT.
They just
They
don't watch it.
love NXT and don't
Yeah.
care about anything else. That's real fandom right there. Okay. And so to see that, NXT is doing this job, they're doing it well. And Shawn Michaels is a guy who they should have been utilizing 2-3 decades ago. Okay. And it's all like kind of like bubbling to the surface. You know what I'm saying? But is it getting to the point where NXT is more valuable because the WWE product is so much out there now, Abe? What was the word people were using? Overexposed. Is WWE overexposed right now? And is that benefiting NXT? I can hear you. I'm just going to turn this light on.
I think, oh man, I think NXT has benefited greatly from the recent like surge in the last couple years by the WWE, and I think that the product is getting over more and more each year, and the way you can see that is how they're able to do these pay-per-views in big arenas and not keep it at like small little spots. Yeah, they have that for the NXT shows, but when they do the pay-per-views, they're able to get back to doing it in big arenas, and they're able to take it across country. So yeah, I think they've benefited from them. But let me tell you, in getting back to the Obafemi, that kid, Miles Bourne, I think, I was getting young Randy Orton vibes, bro.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, bro.
Like
I like that kid Bourne.
yeah, I think he's got it, bro. I think he's got
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And he's gonna be the next champ like real soon.
And that's the thing I've noticed about WWE booking, specifically with Triple H, right? There are levels to this game in the eyes of WWE creative, right? They can see something in you and say, okay, we're going to put the belt on him. That doesn't make you their guy. That means they're going to give you a tryout to be their guy, right? And they think highly of you to put that belt on. They're not going to just put that belt on anybody, but that doesn't mean you're in, right? And you look at the two careers of Sheamus and Finn Balor, two guys that were on Raw last night that have very interesting things going on, but are not at the top, right? Sheamus came in, they gave him a chance, right? They booked him strong. And once he started to taper down, he was able to keep himself relevant. He was able to make himself get over with the fans, even if they weren't having him squash John Cena in a table match, right? But when you look at someone like Finn Balor, they gave him that one shot at the Universal title. He got hurt, and guess what? That was it. With Obafemi, I feel like he is in a prime position where he can fail upwards. And I don't even mean that to be like a dick or like say like he's not talented or whatever. Nothing at all like that. What I'm saying is he is a guy who can benefit from flopping or from choking or from just having an off night. They will give him another chance. He's got the package. He's got the look. He's got the commercial viability. So again, I don't worry about those guys like Obafemi because I know they're going to have their chances. But the Bournes, like you said, like these other guys that are in NXT and making this product better than it's ever been, at least since the Black and Gold 2016-17 days. But I just don't see like a mad shift to NXT. It's like they have their product and they're doing so well, and Battleground is proof of that. But then you have WWE, I feel like saturating the market, killing the hardcores that would love NXT. I know guys that watch MLW would fall in love with NXT all over again if they gave it a chance, but they won't. And it's because of these little stories like, ruining Triple A's title match and beating Hendry that, ends up, I think, costing WWE with those fans. But I don't think they care, honestly.
Yeah, and let me tell you, a guy like Obafemi, if Vinnie Mac was still running the ship, you don't think he would have been on the main roster already?
No, stop. See, he is still running it. Not really, not him personally, but that mindset, Abe, hasn't gone anywhere. Even though Triple H's era feels different and he is making it different, You cannot rid yourself of the ghost of Vince McMahon like that. He's too big. He had too much influence. Think about the Yankees for a second, Abe, right? Your team saw him this weekend. I wish, fucking Dominguez would have gotten a hit that day, but that's okay. Ultimately, you look at them. Steinbrenner passed away, but that was still his team.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because the son's name was the same. I'm saying that because the culture, the dynamics, every aspect of that organization represented the ideals of Steinbrenner, and Vince is the same way. So you're going to continue to have guys like Obafemi get their shots, and you're absolutely right. If Vince was at the helm right now, that dude would have been up, but NXT would have stayed down. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's trade-offs. Anything from Battleground you want to talk about other than real quick? No, okay. So then we'll move on. Let's get into Double or Nothing real quick. Or do you want to get into Saturday Night Main Events?
Nah, let's go Double Nothing.
Let's go Double or Nothing, bro. I'm gonna let you start wherever you want to start. Top, bottom, wherever you want.
Oh man, yo, that Anarchy match, boy.
I knew it. I was like, he's still gonna pick what I would have picked. That Anarchy match, bro.
Yo, let me tell you, this is a thing. I definitely, and they did this twice or once before, where they let the music play throughout the match.
Yes,
yeah. The last time was the Young Bucks and Omega. I think it was like a trios match or something.
Was it? I thought it was. Maybe was it Mox? I thought no.
Maybe
The Indian song. What's it called? The Cleveland song.
I can't. No.
Yeah.
So not.
It wasn't that one, right?
Yeah, it was another song, but it was
Wild Thing. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, I think it was something else. And so, yo, I just thought it was just a vibe, man. That match
Such a vibe.
It was just a vibe. And look, they even did the NFL Red Zone quad box, right? They had the 4 screens.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed everything about that match. Honestly, I didn't want it to end. I didn't want the match to end. I just wanted it to keep going. And that Willow Nightingale spot, bro. Yo, Willow came out on top. She
tore that place up. Hell yeah, bro. You're so right. Shout out to Matt Machine Gun in the chat. Said I was surprised Oba didn't drop the strap. So was I. I was very surprised he didn't drop the strap. Listen, I think you're absolutely right. Anarchy in the Arena was everything they wanted it to be originally, right? This is a product of the COVID era, right? And it never really hit the way they wanted it to because they weren't choosing to have open or empty arena matches. That was the ordinance. So for them to finally, after all the tries they've had, to really nail it the way they did, I mean, beautiful work, guys. And I'm not talking about just the people that were in the ring. Production did a great job. Very few missed spots. That's the one thing I think about the Anarchy in the Arena. When I think of that match, I think missed spots. So many of the biggest spots were shown on replays because, the angles weren't great or whatever. Wow. 4 screens, because that's how much action was going on and they were needed. It wasn't 4 random screens of bullshit. No, there were 4 screens because that's what it took to keep up with the action. Yeah. The spots from the Bucks, the spots from Swerve. I mean, even Hobbs did some really great big man work in that match. What did you think about the Swerve staple gun to the tongue spot?
Unnecessary.
It
was unnecessary. I mean, I get it. This is playing to your guy. Hey, real glass.
Exactly.
I get it, but it wasn't necessary. It really wasn't.
It stole all of the pictures or the headline spots, right? Because they use that as the thumbnail for their articles and content. And yet it was not even one of the coolest moments of the match. I mean, it was like a ooh type of moment, for sure. And it definitely got over for what it was supposed to be. But I mean, there were 10 dozen more spots that were better, more entertaining, takes a lot more talent to get over.
All I gotta say is Kenny fucking Omega, bro.
Pro. I mean, this guy, can he do it all or can
Bro.
he do it all? I mean, everything, dude. Everything. Did the right team win?
Yeah. Listen, if the out of everything that was happening, if what was intended, throughout the match was to put Willow over at some point, they absolutely did.
They achieved it. Good call, bro.
They
Good
achieved
call.
it. Now,
Well
like,
said.
I guarantee you, everybody in there wants to see Willow come out on Wednesday's Dynamite.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, they do. I mean, she always had this thing, right, where she was very likable. As soon as
Yeah.
you saw her on TV, it's like you could see her, she was having fun. It just felt like the kind of reaction you'd expect from yourself if you were ever to be given one of those chances. You know what I'm saying? Shout out real quick to Matt says, I would have had the Death Riders abandon the Bucks instead of being locked in an ambulance. That's my only complaint. Yeah, I love the ambulance spot, but I'll be honest, it really felt like we were headed towards a big split. Like, I don't know if you caught these moments, but Mox would just look at the Bucks like they were dipshits, or he would like look at them like he wanted to punch them. And honestly, I don't even think that was for the match. I think he just really wants to punch him in real life, and
No,
that
but
was the only part to me.
let me tell you, I almost spit out my drink when I saw the Bucks in their intro.
Oh my God. It was hilarious. Listen to me. Okay. So my uncle who passed about a year and a half ago now, his birthday was Sunday, right? So yesterday we had or 2 days ago, we had everybody over, and I kid you not, right? The vast majority of my family, not wrestling fans, but you'd be surprised how many of my uncles are. Every single person that walked through that door would say, hello, everybody, look at the TV, and then say, same words. Why are they wearing that? Like, because they knew it was wrestling, and they're like, why? And then every time we'd be like, everybody would be like, Memorial Day. And they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it now. And it was so good. You know what I mean? Like the way they cosplayed it all. And you don't get that from WWE. And again, this isn't about saying, oh, well, that they had more stars than they had more stars and they had better. No, not at all. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. I love Mr. Pibb, Dr. Pepper, two of my favorite things in the world, right? But ain't nobody turning down a root beer float. But who the hell's going to compare a root beer float to Dr. Pepper? They're not the same shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different, bro. And that's what this was. It was different. But I am going to say that Anarchy in the Arena was so good that all by itself, it was better for me. It was more fun than Saturday Night Main Events. Again, I'm not comparing the two as a product the way you would baseball and boxing and MMA, right? Two different sports. Volleyball and basketball, just because they got balls and they're on a court and they have a net, doesn't make them the same sport. But you can enjoy a volleyball game that's exciting more than a one-sided beatdown in basketball. And that's the only point I'm making is that they were both good for what they were. But man, I had a lot of fun watching Double or Nothing. More fun than I think I remember having for the last like 5 pay-per-views. And it's not that they've been bad. There was something fun. And Abe, one last point I'm going to make before we move on to the main event. The whole narrative of this John Cena takeover, right? He wants to ruin wrestling. And even though we'll get to it in a little bit with the R-Truth stuff, it's been beautiful. Like, he wants to have fun in wrestling. And Truth epitomized that. This is the best moment right now for AEW to be the fun company, right? Because even though WWE is telling a great story, right, it's not being utilized in a way that's like really catching attention. So right now, all you got to do is show the two shows and create the paradox. One of them is trying to stop you from having fun, and the other one is delivering it straight to your living room. And that's all I'm going to say about it. But any last thoughts before we move on to the main event?
Yeah, nah, I guess I just want to see and this has always been my small issue with AEW is following up something really good. Like they've never really had issues with their pay-per-views. It's the
Mm-mm.
follow-up
Yes.
after that they fail to carry that momentum on. So I guess let's see what happens on Wednesday, and hopefully they can carry that momentum on.
Absolutely. Matt said, like, had Mox gave the signal to leave and the match still ends the same, I feel like it would have been a complete finish. Bro, that would have been dope because you could still get the ambulance spot off, but then you finish the story. I feel like he said complete the story, and he's absolutely right. It does feel almost finished because it's like he doesn't want to fuck with the Bucks. Like, we know that. The main event, Abe. Did the right man win? And what did you think of the match?
I understand why Hangman won, because obviously All In is in Texas, right?
Yes.
And I get that. I feel like Osprey should have won because I think it's his time to be the champion. I think what they're hesitant about is that Osprey doesn't live in the US and he travels back and forth
Oh,
home.
yeah. Good call.
And so I don't know if you want to have a champ that you may not be able to have like consistently available like that. Um, and maybe Osprey is not ready to do that just yet. Like maybe
Mm,
he's, you know, just trying to see how it goes. Question is, how long was Osprey's deal when he signed it?
good
Like
question.
nobody knows that. He's been with the company what, 2 years now? About that?
About.
Yeah. So I would have preferred Osprey to win, but I could see why they picked Hangman. Now my question to you is, did you did you think that the pace of the match um benefited Hangman more in making him get over, or
Yes.
did it
Yeah.
hurt Osprey a little bit because that wasn't really his type of momentum, like not
Both,
like pace?
both, both. But to your point, I think the choice was the first one. I think that they wanted to set a pace. Look, we know now. We know now, I think, right? Without Tony having to say it or Osprey or anybody, they don't have to come out and say it. That's fine. But we know now that Osprey was always going into Sunday to do the job. That's the truth, right? So when we heard those badass promos a week ago, and then they followed up, or 2 weeks ago, and then they followed up with probably one of the best of the year. I mean, it was amazing. It made you feel like, dude, who's gonna win? And by the way, both of them have to win. Like one, they each need this win, right? That's how it was painted. Beautiful work. But the match was designed to get Hangman over in the win. Because the problem with Osprey, he's too good. He looks good even in a loss. He looks like the winner even when his shoulders are pinned. 1, 2, 3. And so you have a scenario where these two guys are wrestling, right? And I'll paint you the narrative right here. Hangman was the better story. Osprey was the better future, was the better money, was the better economics. Look, you said it yourself. You know why Hangman wins. So did I, because we both watch AEW and we know his story as the millennial cowboy, right? Battling anxiety and depression. And, these are things that like I can vibe with, right? I played football. I did jujitsu. I've boxed. Okay. And I can tell you that none of those things helped me to become a man. Not really. Like up here, as a kid growing up, I thought, oh, if I could beat the shit out of dudes, if these things right here were good enough, then I'm a man, right? And I had to grow up to realize that I have examples of men like my grandfather, like my dad, right? Like you, Abe. And I
Thank you.
have these people, and they're nothing like that in the sense of what it means to them to be a man, right? To handle your own, to be on your shit, to protect your entire livelihood, because that's what you deserve as a man, not to be in this position where you have to, be this shit talking guy who tells girls get to the kitchen, not the guy who's threatened by his woman because she makes more money than him, not because you don't want to go out and change the kids' diapers and go to their school functions and their baseball games because you'd rather be chasing tail out on Bumble. Like that's bitch stuff, right? And Hangman represents a character that for me feels like real growth. So he was the better story. I can't deny that. And I love the story. I do. But God damn it, Ospreay's the guy to put the title on. He is the guy to put everything on the back. If AEW right now is struggling because they are getting counter programmed out the ass and WWE is stepping on their neck in a way that they hadn't before, they didn't even acknowledge them as competition before. Now they feel like everything in competition. So for you to put yourself in that position and play that role, right, and be that scenario, I love it, but you're not going to get credit, right?
Yeah.
Because most men don't think like me. Most women don't think like me. Most people that are younger and have had those things, like they want to see the Ospreay flips. They want to see his great performances. That's what's going to draw people to All In Texas. Matt texted me something the morning after Double or Nothing, and he said, well, Mario, does Hangman Mox get you to the building? Is that what's going to make you buy a ticket? And when he put it like that, I said, fuck, Ospreay should have won. He should have won. I hate to say it, but he should have won.
Yeah, but for every one person that is thinking like you, there's probably 4 others in Texas that are gonna buy the ticket just so that they can say cowboy shit in the stadium.
Yeah. Good call, bro. Good call. Texas of all places. You're right.
Yes.
Oklahoma maybe too, but New Mexico, but hell yeah, Texas of all places. That's a good point. My cousin is excited. He loves Hangman. He already had his tickets. But even I could tell he was like, man, I really wanted it. I wanted Ospreay going in there for the title. I think that we can all agree that Ospreay will be the champion. By the way, I looked it up, Abe. He signed what they can at least tell is a 3+ year deal, 3 and some months for 7 figures. And according to Fightful, his contract is set to expire either in December 2026 or very early 2027. And some of that's going to have to do with, I think, some early injury time they added before. I don't know. I can't read enough of that to see. But yeah, so listen, 2026, 2027 is coming up real quick. But Ospreay feels like he's bought into the whole idea of us against the world, right? I don't think he appreciates WWE. Okay, sure. But the way to make him feel like this is a war and he's on that team is by getting counter programmed, is by talking that shit on online, is by having Nick Khan come out there and throw shots that are supposed to be subliminals, but he don't even care if you take them as a subliminal. Now he'll just disrespect you to your face and call it your daddy's company, your daddy's money. Bro, that's disrespect. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a man and I'm walking on my 2 and I got business and I handle that business and you tell me that that's my dad's money and I know how much I work every night, how I don't go to sleep until 4 a.m., how I didn't get to eat dinner with my kids, I'll fucking slap you across your fucking face. I swear to God I will. Don't you ever disrespect the sacrifices I've made. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And I'm not even trying to like look at me up here. Like, yo, don't you make fun of billionaires who get seed money from their dads. You understand me? They're the real workers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's WWE makes you. It pulls that shit out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Matt asked the question I wanted to ask you. Go ahead.
Yeah. And I tell you, I think, listen, money talks. And when the time comes, Ospreay's gonna be in a great position where maybe he gets Tony Khan to overpay him, right? And for him to stay. But for Hangman Adam Page, listen, if he don't come out with Big X the Plug intro, then he ain't doing it right.
Dude.
Then he ain't doing it right.
You did it. You nailed it. That's it. Everybody who hears this, you need to flood Hangman pages. Here's the other thing, though. If he doesn't want to go that route and he wants to go like country or something else, that's cool. But then it's got to be Swerve. It's got to be Swerve. Yo, imagine, because I'm from Texas. Yo, the whole crowd would just
crazy.
Oh, that would be nuts. Hell yeah, bro.
Book it.
Crazy. Book it, bro. Book it. Yo, I hope they show out for Dallas. Like, I hope they bring Metcalf out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, let her bring her title. I mean, I'm picking her to keep it. So, let her show out for Dallas, DSR and all those really great underground rappers of the 2005, 2010 that really didn't pop like that. Give Earl Spence a front row seat. Like, show how proud like y'all are of the state. You know what I'm saying? Like, come through for real. But yeah, man. Double or Nothing was fun. I thought the match was great. The one thing I wanted to real quick bring up before I go to you for any final thoughts before moving on. How great, Abe, was the production and the cinematography and the storytelling from the truck in that match. There was that moment where they both were okay, Hangman was about to try to hit him with the buckshot lariat, right? And then Will stopped, and they had the old school cowboy western stare down, and they were like, you know what I'm saying? And then both of them each removed the elbow pad. But what was the narrative? What narrative did they use to take us to the finish? Will fucked up because he brought a knife to a gunfight. And that was the narrative, and that was the cinematic storytelling that they used to tell it. And the way that they did it, I mean, honestly, I thought one of them was going to pull out a gun and for real draw on them. It looks so cool. And the way they were doing it, where their eyes were just showing like you would in the Western, like when the bandana covers and then the mask, so you only see this part of them. And it's like, like, that was so sick, bro. And that's the extra attention that they put on that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I like it. And that's why it's different from MLW and ROH and WWE and NXT. You know what I mean? Like, it's different and it hits. Anything from Double or Nothing before we move on?
No, the last thing that I'll say is Hangman a heel or a face?
Bro, your guess is as good as mine.
Because you're not gonna do a heel versus heel as a main event for the title. Like, it's not. That's
very true.
It's not how that works.
Yo, Mex, good. I'm glad you caught in because we're gonna get to that. Trust me, we're gonna get to that. We talked a little bit about it, but we're gonna talk about Raw. But yes, absolutely, AAA can be pissed off. They are, yes, okay, they're not their own entity anymore, but absolutely, they could at least feel disrespected. Let's put it that way. Moving on to Saturday night main events. 4 matches, was it right? Or 5? I don't remember, but
5.
I love the quality over quantity ideas that WWE is running with these days. I prefer not as many matches if they're all pretty good. And they were all pretty good in terms of the booking. I'd say the Chelsea Green stuff was the laziest creative of the night. Didn't give them a whole lot of stuff working. It was just basically a continuation of their belt rivalry. But we had John Cena successfully not defend his title because it was a non-title match, but he did win. Story there to talk about. The tag match at the very beginning of the Saturday night main events saw the return of Bronson Reed, who, after WWE and creative have leaked stories that there were going to be no more additions to the Seth Rollins stable, we indeed got another one. And I am also seeing rumors that they're not done. In fact, I've seen rumors on Reddit from, let's say, not reputable people that have been right before, who suggest that the WWE is really thinking about making this an NWO-esque type of faction where they bring in somebody once a month or every other month, and maybe not as crazy as NWO. I mean, they had a fucking New Japan faction, WCW faction, like that shit was crazy. There was like 172 people in NWO at its height, I think. But without going that far in it, I think it could be cool, right? Like, you keep making these people defect. And while I want to keep it on Saturday Night main events, because we're going to also talk about Raw. They're all connected, right? The storytelling's all flowing, and that's what I appreciate about it. Main event, Jey Uso retains. Cody Rhodes comes back. John Cena tried to ruin wrestling. And ladies and gentlemen, I am not capping when I say this. This is not a lie. I'm not saying this for air. Abe literally booked the entire main event like, what was it, 30 minutes before the show started, I
Yeah.
think? I don't even remember, but it was right before, because we found out that it was a non-title match, that it wasn't the main event, and there was a couple other things we found out that made me feel like, holy shit, I think Truth could actually beat John Cena if it's a non-title match, like, you know, just the image of him getting the pin. And you were like, nah, that ain't happening, bro. Cody's coming back. That's what's gonna happen. I was like, oh, that works. That works. Thinking like, oh, that's a good booking. That's not what they're gonna do, but it's a good booking. It was a good booking and it worked and they did it. So congrats to Abe. That was a really good shot. But let's talk about it. Main event, Cody Rhodes comes back. CM Punk, everybody kind of basically gets in this match. Was it overbooked? What did you think about Cody coming back? And how does it work right now with him stacked up against this group now?
Yeah, I don't think that they were gonna bring Cody back to book that tag team match for Money in the Bank. I think the only reason why they did it is because the Money in the Bank ticket sales. I don't think that they hitting like that. If you look at the prices, they wanted $350, I think, for the last row up
Whoa.
top on the into it.
Whoa.
$350 a piece.
Oh shit, bro.
Yo,
Yo.
the ones on the floor were like 3,000 or 4,000, something like that. It was
Bro, I don't think I'm in
crazy,
the tax bracket to be a fan
bro.
anymore.
And
Honestly.
and so I was like, oh man, they needed to do this to push the ticket sales because they probably wasn't hitting like that.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh.
bring Cody Rhodes back and all of a sudden book a tag team match a week or two before the pay-per-view because, or no, yeah, like 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, just because like there was no like real storyline kind of built into it. They just kind of
Bro, you nailed
meshed
it.
it.
I think you
They
nailed it.
meshed they
I think you
meshed it
nailed it.
together. Yeah.
And you know, I think that you just helped me to realize what I was trying to say with the Will Ospreay stuff, because it wasn't that it was bad. It's that it double or no. Okay, so all in ticket sales, I think they're about 20, I think maybe a little under, maybe a little over, whatever, but they're not where they thought they were going to be at this point. Ticket what are they called? Ticket people that like translate like sales and predict. Like, what does a
Uh,
weatherman do? They, what do they do to the
Forecast,
weather?
ticket forecasters.
Forecast. Ticket forecaster. Thank you very much. So, a few ticket forecasters that I follow on TikTok and other socials, um, had basically showed kind of like the way the algorithms work. They're not real, by the way, guys. Like, it's all like kind of fake math and it's all kind of pseudoscience in a way. So you really never know how many people are watching, and it's never really as many as they say. Just fair uh disclaimer there, but Double or Nothing hasn't, I mean, I'm sorry, All In hasn't gotten there, and I don't think Hangman Page gets them there. But on the other end, from what you're saying, I do think this has probably an immediate impact on ticket sales and interest. You know, Cody is a big name. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and listen, yeah, I mean it's one of those things where they want Money in the Bank to be big, and if you're not selling tickets like that, I know people wait till the last minute to do stuff, but right now or before Saturday, what was the main event at Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank,
If
right?
that,
And
yeah,
but the interest on the Money in the Bank wasn't there.
not
So
yet.
yeah, they was just like, well, let's, hey Cody, we'll throw you in there and we'll figure it out. Like,
Yeah. So do you think though that them booking the tag match at the end of Saturday Night Main Events, which is what I forgot to mention, Cody grabbed the mic at the end of the night and basically said, me and Jay versus John and Logan, you got your buddy, let's go. Do you think that they pulled that trigger for tickets? Yes, I think you're absolutely right about that. But do you think they maybe also did it because of the Bad Bunny Travis Scott rumors that were floating around and people were like not happy and voicing their opinion on the fact that Travis Scott shouldn't be involved in such a big moment so soon? What do you think?
no, I think it was more so, and probably people aren't thinking about this, but it was more so about keeping Logan Paul's profile at a certain level. He
That's a
didn't
good
want it,
point.
he didn't want it to lose and then just kind of be forgotten about. Now people don't even think about the fact that Jey Uso successfully defended. All they're thinking about now is that Logan Paul is standing next to John Cena.
John Cena. Good call, bro. Good call. How nervous did you get that we were going to actually get a Logan Paul win?
I didn't get nervous
At all.
because
Wow. Good.
at
Good for
all
you.
I I originally thought they were gonna pull the trigger, but then I was like, nah, they're not, because they're going to have Logan Paul at SummerSlam in some capacity, and you have to build towards that. And
Mm.
right now, they're starting to really build his heel persona, like to the point where he's really hated. And I think that the height of it is going to be at SummerSlam. I still think it's
See,
going to
and
be I still think it's going to be a triple threat. I still
you
think
think
it's going
so?
to be him, Gunther, and Jey Uso at SummerSlam.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't like I looked at what they were like the direction they went, and I'll be honest, like I did start to believe just with everything that went on the way it did. And I'm going to tell you something here, Abe. And a lot of people might not appreciate this coming from me. That's why I'm going to very quickly explain. I almost did want Logan to win, and I'm going to tell you why. Karrion Kross went on Ariel Helwani. You told us last week, and I went and watched it. Holy shit, he's doing some of the best work of his career. That post-Mania stuff, and then he did the documentary that I had forgotten to watch, and it was excellent. That guy is ready. That guy is ready to be a big deal. That guy is ready to at least get his shot at being a big deal. And I really thought there was something that they were going to pull there, because all of a sudden you got Cross out here on Ariel Helwani and basically, admitting that he cut that pipe bomb with Logan Paul in mind. And he said, like, no beef with Logan. He's absolutely, come out and shown that he can do this. He has shown, and he's gone above and beyond, and he's outperformed expectations. But there are people out there that have done that and have been here for decades and have not gotten their opportunities, and they need those. And so I get where he's coming from, and it's kind of a baby face reasoning, but cycled through the heel filter. You know what I mean? And it works so well. It works so well. And then they mixed in the stuff with Sammy. We'll talk about that later. I thought there was a chance that we would see Logan Paul win, and then we would see some dynamic where obviously he's going to lose it before Money in the Bank or leading into SummerSlam. And we were going to get Karrion Kross thrown into the mix, possibly teaming up with Paul, possibly fighting Paul. I don't know. All I know is that there is a fandom on the internet, on social media, that very much has taken an interest in Karrion Kross in a way that I don't think very many people have taken an interest in any WWE superstars in a while. Matt said it right there. Book it. Kross should win the Money in the Bank, and damn it, he should. He should. He really, really should. And if he can't get himself to the point where we can believe him as a champion a year from now with that briefcase, then we know he doesn't deserve it. Or not deserve it. That's not the right word. We know he can't. We know his limits. Let's put it that way. But if he surpasses him, Abe, how can you hold him back any longer?
I think Seth Rollins wins the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
If indeed they're trying to make him this faction leader, you need the title. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
And he'll cash it in probably at SummerSlam.
Yeah. That's probably exactly what's going to happen. And I don't hate it, but I hate that we know. I hate that's what it feels like. Like, even though I've been surprised at a lot of the stuff that's happened and it's really been great TV, bro, I said it from the moment after Mania, they're going to add a fourth guy. I didn't need Reddit. I didn't need all these fake managers and creative guys in WWE hiding behind fake accounts. Like, I didn't need that. I knew they were going to do it. Why wouldn't you? It's badass. It's badass to have Breaker and Bronson Reed on the same team. Now, I will say, Abe, what I didn't like is they dressed them up as AOP, even though there was AOP there not that long ago. Like, let these guys be individuals. Please don't make them Seth Rollins henchmen. Make them Seth Rollins attack dogs, fine. Make them Seth Rollins nuclear choice when he wants to just fucking ruin the show. but don't make him his henchman. Don't put him in matching black suits. And I mean, they weren't matching black suits, but don't do that. Don't do that. Don't take away their individuality as soon as you give them a reason to be individuals.
Let me tell
You
you,
know what
the yes, and I agree with you 100%. I would even make them a tag team, maybe put the straps on them at some point. And that'll
Hell yeah.
protect Bronson Reed a little bit because it seemed like his foot is still kind of bothering him a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. Good point.
Would you be surprised? And I just thought about this. So Money in the Bank is on Saturday, June 7th, right?
Yes, June 7th.
Seth Rollins wins. What's happening on Monday, June 9th?
Raw.
Okay. And what's the main event on Raw? Gunther versus Jey Uso for the title.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
would you be surprised if Seth cashes in that night?
Yes, very much so. But I would be very excited.
Like Jey Uso wins, and then Seth Rollins curb stomps him, cashes in, pins him.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Then you do Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, SummerSlam.
So okay, wait. You think that Jey Uso loses before SummerSlam, the title, right? You had you thought that was a good chance. I remember a few weeks ago when we spoke about that. Okay. So if they take the title away from him, you still think that they would keep him around the main event scene though?
Yeah, he's way
you
over.
Think that would happen? I mean, no, of course he's way over, but like, do you utilize him in that spot where he's still battling for a title belt that you don't want to give him, and he's still around the main event scene that you don't really want to utilize him in? He can go out there and do his yeet thing pretty much with anybody. The yeet doesn't need a title. We always talk about wrestlers that are over enough to not need the strap. The yeet thing doesn't need the strap, but with or without the title, Abe, the yeet is going to expire. There is an expiration. Every young wrestler needs to hear this. Even though I've never wrestled, covering the sport as long as I have, I've learned one thing, okay? It is not about getting over. It's about staying over. And you don't stay over by utilizing the thing that got you over. There is an expiration on every single character, every single feud, every single program. There is an expiration. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the most badass character in the history of wrestling, eventually got old to the fans. And then he started chanting what and kind of ruined wrestling. There isn't a single character or faction that is cool enough to be what it is for the rest of its life. Every single person that's made real money in this game has changed characters multiple times. Hogan, Hollywood, Stone Cold, into the cowboy hat wearing, ukulele playing comedy act, The Rock, the corporate Rock, Dwayne, Flair. Thank you. All of these people that have made real money have continued to reinvent themselves because you get stale in this business. So the yeet will expire. It will go bad. I don't think you can have the belt on him when it does. When that crowd stops cheering the way that they were, you cannot have that belt on him at all. It would make that belt look so boring. And I think a lot of people already kind of feel that way. But
yeah, I mean, see, and that's the thing. Like, if he drops the belt, he can still keep momentum enough to get him through the rest of the year, and then maybe win the Royal Rumble, and then put him right back into the title picture or whatever. I just think that because Money in the Bank has now moved to August next year, I think that is going to be a quick cash in now, and it's not going to be a delayed cash in.
And I wonder real quick what you think about that. I've not liked them holding briefcases so long that the Money in the Bank is almost about to come around the corner again and the guy still has the briefcase. I hate that. Why on earth would you do that? You're not going to tell me that there wasn't a moment in that year where you couldn't look on the schedule and say, Oh shit, Jey Uso's wrestling 5 times next week? Oh my god. I'm gonna go take it from him at the PLE on Saturday. That's the perfect time. I'll fake an injury and get out of my match. Like, let's have some of that kind of like creative, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just always feels like, okay, we have nothing left now. Go ahead and let him cash in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the way it feels.
And
But
and I'm gonna tell you, when Seth cashes in, it's gonna be he's gonna get so much heat that is gonna make him into the ultimate heel. And this is why I
oh
say
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
What he's gonna do is because Jay is super hot, Jay is gonna beat Gunther, but then then Braun Baker is gonna spear Jay. Bronson Reed is gonna splash Jay. They're both gonna roll out the ring. Seth is gonna cash in, and he's gonna do the Hogan fall on his knees and just lay on Jay Uso for the 1-2 parade.
Oh shit. Kevin Nash style, bro. That would
Yeah,
be
bro.
hella heat to grab. Hella
Yes.
heat to grab,
It'd
bro.
be nasty work, and people would hate him for that.
Hate him for it. Yo, Machine Gun doesn't think Seth is cashing in successfully. He says if Seth wins,
Oof.
I don't think he will successfully cash in. Punk or Sammy will stop him. And then he said, did y'all see the date of next year's Money in the Bank in August? Oh, yeah, we said that. Then keep scooting everything back. Yep, you're absolutely right. And I think Abe makes a perfect point. That being able to foretell that schedule this advanced, this early, means that they are thinking about that. I think, you have to consider that move and what it means ultimately for Money in the Bank as a narrative, as a storyline for WWE, because it becomes a storyline every year, and every year one of the Money in the Bank winners becomes a premier story. Last time it was Tiff, and look what it did. It ascended her to this stratosphere. But her time will come up too. People will get bored of that, and she's gonna have to reinvent, just like Becky, just like Charlotte, just like all these other people that have come before her. Okay, so I was gonna ask you that, but let's go to the John Cena stuff with
Hold on.
R-Truth.
Before
Go ahead, go ahead.
before that,
No, go ahead.
I just thought about this. What if after all those things that happened that I said with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Sami Zayn comes running down to the ring, and just when you think that he's gonna go help him out, he gives the Halua kick to Jey Uso,
Oh, fuck, I would love that.
and Seth Rollins
Love that.
pins him 1, 2, 3.
What would be dope is if they had like Jay on one side of Seth and then somebody on the other, and Sammy goes running from corner to corner to deliver the Helluva kick and lands it on Jay. So it's one of those situations, like a chair shot is very hard to like surprise everybody, like shock them, because you see the movement. There's no way to what's the word in boxing when people can tell you're about to throw the right
Telegraph.
telegraph. Thank you. It's just too telegraphed. You know what I mean? Most of those moves are, but the Helluva kick is a move that doesn't get telegraphed. And if at the end of the day, you just at the last minute slide over a little bit, people are shocked. People
Let me
are wondering in that moment, was it an accident? Did you do it on purpose? Like, you know what I mean? It's just creates so much panic and chaos in that moment.
and I think that the next story for Jey Uso is going to be Jay versus Sammy, bro. That's the
Yeah, you think
story.
so?
That's the story, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right.
I think they're building
I
towards
think you're right.
that. They keep showing those shots of loyalty, like
Yes,
amongst them too. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen,
bro. I feel it too, and I think it would be so good in terms of like the story and the narratives that they would have. Listen, I want to move real quick to John Cena. Abe, is John Cena going to go back to face before he retires?
Oh man, I don't know. It's interesting that they're taking that approach of him being
Right?
caught in between, right? But is it really like he used that to get his heel thing,
Yes.
over, right? And
Well
with
said.
the kick. Um, I think it's just part of like his manipulative character, right? Like he wants you to think one thing and then he's gonna do another. And it might just be that all the way into the end. What I truly enjoyed was the R-Truth intro The fact that he had his own merch like John Cena,
Oh my
that
god, I
shit
loved it.
right there, bro.
Loved it. Loved it.
I wonder how many of those shirts he sold that night.
Bro, I'm gonna buy one. I already told my wife. I told her, I said, I'm buying one this week. I'm letting you know. I gotta have that shirt. I
Yeah.
mean, how hilarious it was terrific. Entertainment, terrific.
How did John keep a straight face?
I mean, seriously, dude. I've seen R-Truth make Jay, Roman, Sammy, Jimmy, Seth, every single one of them you can find on YouTube cracking at an R-Truth segment. I mean, when he used to come out and not know what pay-per-view it was, and he'd be like, I'm gonna climb that ladder and I'm gonna get that money in the bank. And they're like, R-Truth, it's the Rumble, and you're not even in it. Oh man, people would just laugh at, I mean, Brock, everybody. So how John did that, I have no idea. But kudos to him and kudos to Truth, bro. I mean, that match, if you strip everything away, right? It's just
Perfect.
a terrible, boring, nothing of a match. R-Truth and John worked to make something great out of virtually nothing. But I don't know, man. Truth keeps talking about he sees this thing in John, and I feel like ever since the night he turned on Truth, there's been this thing after the match where he's kind of like contemplating, or maybe like oh shit, did I go too far type of thing. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think it's such a terrible move to turn him back, because it's like it almost feels like you're admitting it was a failure, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it has to be a failure. I think you just have to get beyond everything that started this. You know what I mean? Like, really get the hands back on the wheel of this program.
Yeah, and listen, I know people don't want to hear this, but in order to do that, you have to bring The Rock back.
Yeah. Damn it, bro.
He's the one that's gonna mail it home. He's going to be the one to take the programming for the second half of the year. He's got to be the
He
one.
has to, bro. He has to. He has
Listen,
to. It's the only way to salvage this whole thing. And if you want to make Cena turn back face, it's got to be at Rock's expense. It
of
has to be.
course,
How
of
could you
course.
not finish that? Like, that's what WWE, I don't think, understands. And I think it's partly because Triple H, that was never his like thing, right? Because Ari Emanuel wanted something big and he went to The Rock for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know if John almost is using, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know if Trips is almost using this as a teaching moment. Like, okay, Suits, you see what you did? You fucked Mania up. Don't ever do that again. Don't you ever think you know how to do this job better than we do. You're Ari Emanuel. You know everything about entertainment. Great. But you've never booked wrestling. And
Hmm.
you try to do it the way you think it works, you're going to mess it up. And so maybe Triple H is just teaching him the hard way. It could be that situation, but I don't know, man. I can tell you that I'm not very interested in seeing this shit right now at all.
Yeah,
I'm not looking very forward to the tag match. I'm looking way more forward to Money in the Bank because of the people that have qualified for it. But anyway, you want to move on to Raw then for the last part of the show?
yeah. But before we do that, I want to highlight two things. One, let's get rid of Jesse the Washed Ventura. Okay,
Oh, thank you for saying that.
let's
Thank
get
you so much for
let's
saying
get
that.
him out of here. He's washed. He destroyed Damian Priest's win.
Bad,
Um,
dude. Oh, I hated that. I hated that. Talking
oh
shit
man.
about leaving. First of all, you moron. Do you know how much we used to talk shit when we were kids about not winning through the door? The easiest, most simplest thing, right? Casual fans could never wrap their heads around why a wrestler would choose to climb over the cage as opposed to go through the door. And somehow in this old man's mind, he thinks that that was stupid or ruined the business or
And
whatever the fuck. Like,
and
ridiculous.
he messed up by saying he was like, "Oh, I'm glad that they're doing steel cages on NBC. They never allowed us to do that back in the day." Hey, idiot! There was plenty of steel cage matches on Saturday Night Main Event.
For real. Some of
What
the
are we
most
talking
classic
about?
matches.
What are we talking about?
They didn't let you do it, Jesse. They didn't let you do it.
I didn't like them. And then the second thing, all right, WWE, they need to have they need to bring in everybody from the ring camera crew into a meeting, into a conference room, and say, guys, we need to get it together. Or have a discussion with the wrestlers. We're getting too many shots of wrestlers calling the match
Oh,
in the
good
ring.
call. Yes.
Bro, like stop it. It's ruining the flow of the match because they put the
Yes.
camera on the wrestler's face and he's like, do it again, or coming up, or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, stop it, man. You guys need to learn how to manage those cameras so you're not catching that. That's the whole point of the product. Like, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or what, but it's whack and they need to stop. It's
Oh,
just
go on mute.
whack.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. It just you're right on every angle. You really are. It didn't do them any favors, and those are two very simple things that they could, deal with like right away. But did you happen to see Cody, his podcast spot on Andrew Schultz's podcast?
No, no.
It was a few weeks ago, and he brought this topic up about how good they are at like masterfully calling stuff in the ring. And he's like, you'll never know when we do it. We talk in carny talk. You think that we're talking shit to each other and we're saying this or we're in each other's face, and you don't know that pointing in the face means this, or like, flipping the guy off or like whatever means something else, or like, you know what I mean? And I just want to, if I was sitting there, I just want to be like, sure, Cody, that's a very good point. I'm sure that that's the case in a lot of ways, but we also know a lot about the carny talk today. It's not the carny era anymore where everybody's in the dark. So I don't think you're doing as good a job as you think you are of, that kind of stuff. But I'm so glad you brought that point up. So let's move on to Raw. I do want to talk about the Money in the Bank Penta match, which is where we learned that Vikingo will be defeating Alberto Del Rio on this weekend's pay-per-view. But what did you think of Penta qualifying? What did you think of the match basically being used to continue to, further those storylines?
Yeah, I mean, I like Penta being in the match. He's not going to win it, but you have to have him in there to get the rub from the top guy of Seth Rollins. Like it's just that simple. I'm over this Chad Gable thing. Like I don't know. Like he needs to do something else. Go somewhere else with your life. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, man, I agree so much. I think that there's like a lot of issues there. But at the same time, they almost like use the whole thing to get over the Vikingo match. And that's basically what the whole segment was for. Do you expect, what are the odds right now that Chad Gable wins that title, that AAA belt?
Bro, I hope that they don't do that. Like that would be such a slap in the face. It really would be. And I hope that they don't do that. I don't like the fact that it's on YouTube. That opens it up to a lot of people. I get it, but I would have hoped that they would have gotten a premiere slot on Peacock, man, and get that Peacock rub.
What does that tell you, Abe, about the Peacock deal? We talked about that briefly, but it's been about a few days since we talked about that. What does that mean to you?
I mean, listen, I think they're slowly transitioning towards life after Peacock. Simple as that. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if the numbers are what they say that they are, I would not be surprised if Netflix just goes all in and buys up the whole enchilada with WWE, SmackDown, the library, the whole nine.
Wow. That would be huge. That would be huge, huge business right there. Yeah, man, listen, we knew. Okay, let me ask you this. First of all, do you think that people are overreacting to the fact that Vikingo and AAA, like the whole thing that WWE did last night, because there are some people saying that that we're all grandstanding and we're all talking shit when we knew that Alberto was never coming back to the company. WWE hates him. And on top of that, it was announced this weekend that Evolution 2 will take place in July, another triple stacked card. It'll have Saturday Night Main Events that weekend, as well as another NXT, Great American Bash, I think it was. So the fact that Paige could be coming back for that show, there's a lot of reasons that we should have expected Alberto Del Rio to never be the champion.
And they're doing it during All-Star Week over there in Atlanta.
What, for real?
Yeah, MLB.
Yo, that's huge, bro. Huge. They have so many stars too. Like Acuna just came back. Albies is there. Matt Olson, or I guess he doesn't play for them anymore. Yeah, there's so many players that they could utilize. And then it's gonna be all stars, like you said. So every single viable commercial entity in the MLB market will be available. Man, that should have been a night that they utilized AAA. Because baseball has such a crossover of Hispanic audiences that it would have made so much sense. But yeah, I agree with you. Penta winning, it'll make for a fun match, but he's definitely not winning. Moving on to the main event of the evening, and we'll kind of utilize everything that went on in that storyline. But Seth Rollins has Reed now. And it didn't seem like Breaker was totally caught up to what the plans were. Do you foresee any sort of issues there? Do you think that they're set on Breaker being under that thumb for a while? Do you think that they could be utilizing this for a Breaker Seth Rollins match at some point? Or what do you think? What do you think is the storyline here?
I think that they planted that seed to go to it later on.
Okay. I like that. I hope that's the truth.
Yeah, that's this long-term booking right there. I think that eventually, whenever they do break them up, it'll be Breaker versus Seth or Breaker versus Bronson. I'm thinking I'm thinking Breaker versus Seth though, because Breaker's and that might be the moment where he gets his title opportunity.
Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. So let me ask you about this. I wrote about this in my Raw recap for last night. Everybody can go to fightsatw.com. That's fightsaroundtheworld.com to check out my recaps, and as well as plenty of the best writers in the game for boxing. And you can go to the website. Please bookmark it. It's your one stop for everything going on in the world of combat sports. And so I wrote it last night. I mentioned that I'm seeing a lot of parallels for Seth Rollins and Marvel, specifically that of Robert Downey Jr.'s character. And for those that don't follow the comic book movie stuff, Robert Downey Jr. has been brought back to the Avengers storylines. He's not playing Iron Man anymore. He is playing Doctor Doom, who is a longtime Fantastic Four villain. One of the most popular villains in comic book history. And they brought Robert Downey Jr. back, and they used this line when they introduced him. Same task, different mask, right? And it's to say that he has the same vision Iron Man had. He's just a villain, and he feels like the job, right? The mission is so important that upholding values of a good guy are just stupid. It's stupid to do that. Seth Rollins is that character right now. He is, at this point, the Robert Downey Jr. of the WWE. Different mask, same task. His job is to save the WWE in his mind, the future of WWE, and prevent it from becoming this commercial commodity that it is now on the trajectory to become, with TKO as a conglomerate of entertainment, specifically sports entertainment, and with the prices going up and all these different types of things, and Logan Paul being utilized, guys like CM Punk and Roman Reigns be basically part-timers, and Cody Rhodes. And so you have this commercial era of wrestling, and Seth is the guy who wants to destroy it, right? And he's recruiting all the best people that he can think of. Bronson Reed attacked Seth Rollins, put him out of action. He is the guy that he started decimating when Reed went through his era of decimation, and yet he recruited him. He recruited him because he knows that the mission to save WWE in his mind is bigger than any sort of personal conflicts that can be had. What are your thoughts on that, Abe? Is that too far? Is that not really, or is that not hitting for you in the same way?
Yeah, no, listen, it is. I think that I like how there's not many people that can pull this off. Seth Rollins is a guy that he can he's the guy that Triple H always saw, right? Triple H always saw this guy as a, what do they say, like a five-tool guy or something like that.
Yes.
Like, he can do it all and he can manage it all. He can change on a whim. He might be a dick in person, but he he's got the ability to do all this. And I think you're right, man. I think it's uh, you know, him doing that switch, bro, and he's gonna he has the ability to definitely have the Hogan NWO ride. If
Ooh,
anybody's gonna
yeah.
do it, it's gonna be him. But he's gonna do it in a way that is gonna feel now and it's gonna feel like Rollins. And guess what? You're gonna be so mad that you love it.
Oof. That's exactly the kind of stuff I like. When they make me feel something that I don't want to feel, but it's like, how can you not? And being invested into these stories, how can you not when they pull something off like that? But God, did you say it best? There are so few people that could pull this off, and they might have found the best of them to pull this one off.
And trust me,
Absolutely correct.
when he does the Hogan pin on Jey Uso, that place will fill the ring with cups and popcorn boxes and hot dog wrappers, aka the glizzy dogs.
Hell yeah.
They will fill the ring with all of that. Trust
Hell yeah.
and believe.
Bro, man, I hope you're right. I definitely hope you're right. Two more topics or one more topic I want to talk about, and that's Liv Morgan. Before we do that, I really just want to say this, and if you want to, add anything, please do. The triple threat Money in the Bank qualifier last night in the main event, one of the best main event Raw's has had in a long time, specifically triple threat. The final sequence of that match was as good as wrestling gets. I mean, I rarely try to put on any sort of color commentary in my write-ups, just because, it's like, it's hard to really like capture the wrestling in written form when you do it like that. But I had to use an entire paragraph to write out that last sequence because it was just fucking masterful. And I'll read it real quick, just real quick, because so the final sequence of the match was as good as wrestling gets. Finn intercepts Sammy's haluva kick with a sling blade, but misses the coup de grace on Sammy, and that miscalculation allowed Seth to land a curb stomp before Sammy nailed Rollins with the haluva kick. The goons got involved as Breakker pulled out the ref to break the count, and that is when Jey Uso came out to even the odds. However, it did not take long for Breakker to neutralize Jey while Reed took out Sammy, leading to Dom Mysterio showing up with the chair to help out Finn. Dom slid the chair to the center of the ring, several feet from Finn, and as Balor crawled over to the chair, Rollins hit him with the curb stomp for the pinfall victory. Masterful booking. It worked so well on so many levels for each one of those men. And simultaneously, you got off a whole other feud that has been long played, and it had nothing to do with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, none of them. And they still effectively did it. Beautiful work to whoever booked that shit last night. You were the champ, and whoever it was needs to demand that they are a part of every single triple threat match like that.
Yeah,
Beautiful work.
and what about Dom doing a heel move for a face turn later.
I'm going to use your words. Very few people could do it. The amount of people that could do it are few, and he nailed it, bro. Nailed it. I
But the
love this
chair
spin stuff.
slid the chair just far enough
Just far enough
to where
where
Finn
Finn had to
couldn't grab it.
crawl over, and the
Yes.
image of Finn crawling in his lowest point, and Dom the reason. And now I say all that to get into the live stuff, right? Because all of this stems from what happened earlier in the night, which is connected to last week, the week before, a month ago, 2 months ago, and that is Finn and Dom's relationship deteriorating week by week. Last week, Finn made it a point to introduce Roxanne Perez, unilateral decision, by the way, didn't tell anybody, into the Judgment Day a week before Liv arrived. And by the way, the news was out that Liv was coming home this weekend. So when he put Roxanne in there to make up for the lost bodies, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was setting it up so that she would be in that position right when Liv came back. And that's exactly what happened. As Roxanne is feeding him a tray full of nuggets and, giving him one of those like shoulder things that girls will do when you got something off your shoulder when they want to flirt. I love it. And Liv comes in. I think she was like, "Guess who's back?" or something like that. It was a hilarious line. And as soon as I heard, I went, "Oh shit." And I saw the guys on the couch, and Raquel was like, "Oh, we did it." And Liv was pissed.
Yeah.
Funny enough, she was more pissed at Dom. Same reaction Rhea had. Then later on, when basically Roxanne and Raquel worked to make Liv lose on accident, she blamed Raquel for it and not Roxanne. Just awesome. Awesome where they're going. I don't even know, and that's why I like it. Tell me what you think, Abe, about Liv's return, the whole segment, everything that went on with Judgment Day last night.
This is going to be Dom's out right here. This is going to be Dom's out, and I think I said this before. There's going to be a point where it's Finn versus Dom, and Liv is going to go in the ring, in the towards the end, and she's going to kick or punch Dom in the groin and cost him the match.
Oh,
and she's
shit.
going to leave with Finn.
Yo, that would be nuts. Oh man. Yeah, and that works too, Abe, because it successfully keeps Dom a face without him having to alter or make any big moves. You know what I mean? That change his whole character.
So check this out. Then Finn and Liv go in the back. Finn tells Roxanne, "Yeah, I don't need you anymore. Kick rocks."
Oof.
Roxanne goes with Dom, and then you get Finn and Liv versus Dom and Roxanne, either at SummerSlam or later.
Bro, I love that booking, for real. It is so good. So good. And it could really, really put Dom in a position where they're treating him as a big world title main event guy with the IC belt and everything that they've put in with Finn, but it's not for that title yet. So this is a great opportunity to see him in that position, right? Because as of yet, he has passed all tests, but he's never been the guy. You know what I mean? And I think they're going to slowly test out more and more. Can Dom hold these reigns? Is that something possible?
And when you do that tag team, you know what you do? You put Raquel as the guest referee.
Oh,
because she doesn't know which side to go.
Yo, that is sick.
Then
sick booking. Yo, that's for the sickos.
Yo, then you get Raquel to cost Liv the match, and then you do a Raquel Liv story for the next couple months.
I love it. Yeah, that works. That definitely works. All I can say is that the people that are complaining about this being the same Rhea storyline, they're missing it. They're missing it totally. It is the same storyline in a sense, but it wasn't ever Rhea's story. Rhea's her own character. She was her own thing. They utilized her in that position. And yes, it was her feud, but ultimately it was done to give Liv and Dom the heat that they needed, right? And so now you're in a position where it isn't the same at all. Dom is not the same character that he was when him and Rhea started up. Liv is certainly not really the same character either. She's playing the same role and nothing has changed about her character, but the goals are different. You know what I mean? The mission is different, and that changes the story completely. So I don't vibe with that just because it's another, like, it plays into Dom's whole character. Like, he is this young F boy. That is basically the vibe he gives. And that is a heelish type of vibe. And so if you drop that, he becomes a face, a lovable, goofy face. And he may never be the perfect face, but I think that's why he works so well, honestly.
Yeah.
Listen, last topic I just want to mention real quick. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it before we get out of here. Cody Rhodes, it was announced that his podcast will debut tomorrow. It is going to be on WWE YouTube, which, funny enough that they, like you said earlier, they keep putting all this stuff on WWE YouTube. And I think you're absolutely right. It's because they are getting ready to, gear up for their next big change network-wise. And you don't want to give up IP that you didn't initially give up, right? Like, AAA was never part of the deal when they signed with NBC. NXT was, so they'll put Battleground and stuff like that, right? But Abe, you taught me this. When you start to see them do moves like this, you know what's coming. So now you have this Cody Rhodes IP, which everybody knows this podcast is going to be a hit, right? Wrestling fans are going to flock to watch it. He's too big for it to fail. And you're not putting it on Peacock. You're not putting it on Netflix. But I promise you, a year and a half from now, when they have solidified their next deal, all those brands will be on one channel. All of those things. Cody Rhodes is making WWE Network programming. They just don't have the WWE Network program. You know what I mean? So he's going to have Brandy Rhodes on for the first guest. They showed some things that they talked about on Raw. They are going to talk about Mania, and he's going to talk about how worried he was about his first Mania back, whether they would boo him or not. And it did sound like they were going to talk a little bit about AEW without mentioning AEW. Abe, what are your thoughts on Cody going into this podcast? Is it give us a sign that he's going to start to be a little more part-time than he's been? And what do you expect from this kind of show? Does he pull back the curtain a little bit more, show us the fourth wall a little bit more, or is kayfabe and making it great again part of his mission for this podcast?
The only way I can see it being successful is if he takes the Stone Cold Steve Austin approach.
Oof, yes. Love that.
Like, there is no walls with Stone Cold, right? They talk about all the companies, AEW, whatever. They're talking about it. I don't know. I hope it's not corny. And I hope it's not carny.
Yo, that is the fucking show's motto right there.
Yo,
not corny and not carny. Yo, that's hilarious.
I mean, let's remember that Brandy, yes, she is the wife, but she is also a former wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Knows how to cut a promo. So
yes,
is this Brandy cutting a promo, and not being a guest on a podcast?
Yo, I didn't even think of that. Is she almost going to use this as an audition to a degree for like a specific program? I mean, obviously they would bring Brandy back for a segment or for a program if Cody really insisted or had a good idea. But if she can show something in this thing, then maybe somebody from creatives watching and like, ooh, I got an idea now. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the thing. Like, how do you're not going to think that if you would have brought her back like mid-season or whatever, but the first episode, you're going to have her on there because you know that everybody's going to be watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. You're absolutely right. What is the one name that you want to see on the Cody Rhodes podcast? Matt says, yeah, no more Brandy creative. Who's getting the numbers for you? Who is the guy you can't miss on the show, along with the millions of others?
I'm trying to think here, man.
I think Brock Lesnar.
You think Brock Lesnar?
I know it's crazy, but I mean, obviously they're not going to take it to the Vince spot. That would be, I mean, to be able to ask him about what's going on with Paul, like you can successfully do two things. You can have an honest, actual conversation, right? But then also uphold kayfabe and have Paul cut a promo on Heyman. Now, I know that that's a problem if they're not going to actually use him, right? It's all kind of just goes up in the wind for nothing, and people might even complain about that. But the numbers that you would do, and Brock Lesnar's not going on any other podcast ever. He will be on one podcast and one only, and that's Stone Cold's.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that Cody's a politician, bro.
True, and so, very, very true.
And so I don't see this program as being cutting edge to the point where he's ruffling feathers. I don't see that.
Very good point. Very good point. Matt said Gold Dust. That would get a ton of views. Oh, yeah, man, that would be a good
allowed
one.
to do that.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet, for sure.
Yeah, he won't be allowed to do that. I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to think who, like, it honestly, for me, I think somebody that was a former AEW person that was with him during that time would
there's a few potential guys, right? You got Flying Brian's son. You got oh man, I don't even remember his new name now.
Yeah, Jade Cardigan.
Jade Cargill could be good. That could be good. They have plenty of topics too that aren't just AEW.
Yeah.
Ethan Page is a good one. Ethan Page is a very good one. Oh man, I would love to hear that. I don't think he does the numbers though, but I think that's a great podcast.
Or maybe somebody like Ricky Saints.
Yes, that's who I was trying to think of. I was trying to remember his name. I didn't want to call him Ricky Starks. Yes, Ricky Saints would be another good one. I like Ethan Page a little better. Oh, they let Y2J do Stone Cold's podcast. That is a fair point, but I don't know. I don't think it is different, but can AEW afford to treat it different? Because if you tell Dustin no, then you have to also tell him why it's a no. And you know why it's a no, so do I. Because you're not big enough. Because you're not as important as Jericho. And I think that's bullshit, but at the end of the day, I think that's what they tell him.
Let me tell you, like if they wanted to really do it, bro, Cody just bring on Kenny Omega and just
that would kill the game, bro. That would kill the game. Oh yeah, it would break the internet. Absolutely. I mean, covering that would get us thousands more views and clicks than we typically get, because everybody would want to know about it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Listen, just a reminder that the Cody Rhodes show, I'm trying to find the name. Where is it? Okay, we're just going to call it the Cody Rhodes podcast for now. It will debut on WWE's YouTube channel tomorrow, premiering with Brandy Rhodes as the first guest. And so it was announced on Raw last night, and definitely good luck to Cody. We will be tuning in. That's been the show for us today.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Machine Gun Matt says CM Punk. I
love
that. I would love that.
Oh my god, dude.
But it would be I feel like they would politic that too much, man.
See, here's the thing. I think you would normally be right about that. And I was thinking that exactly. And then it came into my head. There's no way WWE or Cody Rhodes could allow CM Punk to give the interview he gave to Ariel and not give that interview to him. I mean, they don't have to go as deep, right? There's plenty of stuff to talk about with Punk outside of AEW, but I think that to hear from both of them on that topic, right? Because it's not a situation like where Ariel's just the interviewer. And I don't mean that like he's not involved, right? So it's like, this is all a one-way conversation. I'm going to ask you, CM Punk, about your time in AEW and all these things. But this is a situation where Punk can be like, Okay, Cody, but what did you think? I mean, this fucking kid goes out there and he's like real glass, cry about it. Like, you want to act like a hard ass on TV, but then when I come up to you and go to your face, you act like a bitch. Like, yo, that is the conversation I want to hear. Him asking Cody, what do you think about my shit? JR called me a punk the other day. All these other people been coming out from AEW talking shit about me. Cody, what do you think about it? Oh my God, that would be millions and millions of clicks for that one clip.
And speaking of which, where is Jungle Boy at?
Yo, I don't know, bro. I think Darby accidentally left him on Everest. Yo, I don't know where he been, bro. Darby went and did a backflip on Everest, and they left Jungle Boy there, bro. I don't know. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Where is
Honestly, I'm
Orange
just glad that
Cassidy?
neither of them came back. I know. I thought for sure we were gonna get Cassidy and or Darby. And I knew it was probably too soon for Darby, right? He had just finished the climb. Congrats to him too, by the way. First ever person to do a backflip on Mount Everest. Like, that's something only Darby would have been like, oh, I got to be the first guy to backflip on Mount Everest. Like, crazy, bro. Everybody else just trying to survive up there. This guy's doing gymnastics and shit.
Yo, let me ask you this, and I'm sorry, I know we keep
No, go ahead.
Do you think it's time that AEW creates a brand underneath their umbrella? Because it feels like they have so much talent, they need to kind of have like an NXT type of brand underneath their umbrella to get some of these guys more burn.
Yeah, bro. I feel like that should have been ROH. I know what he wanted to do with it, but it hasn't worked. Every time people like run down there was this meme the other day I saw on social media, Abe. I don't know if you caught it, but it was basically like there's a line in the sand right now. And it's WWE, AAA, TNA, all these on one side, and then it's AEW, New Japan, MLW, all on another side. And it really is a versus situation. But where do you put Ring of Honor? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's on the AEW side, but does it really feel like a promotion like that of MLW or that of NXT? No, not at all. It feels like they have AEW pumping life into ROH to keep it alive. And it's surviving off of what AEW has been able to do monthly, and the nostalgia of ROH is the only reason it's alive today, because other than that, it's not really a product anymore. Not really.
Speaking of ROH, we're gonna have a exclusive feature with Red Velvet on fightsatw.com coming next couple of days.
Bro, shout out. Red Velvet is somebody I really want to hear from. What a great get, because that story there.
And her father, former WBC champion back in the day too.
No shit. Who?
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Do you know?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, look it up.
Heavyweight?
No, flyweight, I believe it was.
Oh, flyweight. Flyweight.
Yeah. So she's got an interesting story for sure.
Prudencio Cardona. Is she part Cuban or
Colombian, I think.
Colombian? Okay, yeah, she's got that beautiful Colombian what's the word? Like, skin sounds weird. She's got that beautiful skin. Like, that makes me sound like a weirdo. Like, I don't know, that Colombian, texture or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dope. I cannot wait for that. I want to hear so much about what's been going on with her, what her plans are, everything that went down with AEW, how she felt about it. Did she feel like there were any aspects of it that were prejudiced, I guess? And I don't even mean that like in a weird way. I just mean more like, did they hold things against her? Like the times she's been in wrestling, like, did they expect more or not as much? Like, I don't know. So much about her story has never really been covered as well as I think it could have been. So I'm very excited that Fights ATW is going to take that one on. Much needed.
Her pops was a flyweight champ.
Yeah.
In the 80s, early 80s.
That's dope. Prudencio Cardona, I think is how you say it. Prudencio.
So
that's dope. Hell yeah. But listen, guys, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Definitely thank you for the subscribes today. Appreciate it. Everybody out on Twitch. Shout out to you. Shout out to Matt, Machine Gun, Champ as always. Shout out to Super Mex in the chat as well. And let me see, who do we have on IG? Yo, shout out to the caddy. Oh wait, the Narc Daddy. All right, that works. Shout out to all of everybody that jumped off of IG. My bad, I didn't get to give y'all a shout out, but I am at Mari Munguia on all social media, and you can follow the show at Infighting Exchange, and it's spelled Infighting FX on all social medias, including TikTok, which yeah, I got some new stuff too on there too if you want to check out. But yeah, we will be back 2:00 tomorrow. And yeah, chopping up everything going down with boxing this week. Huge fight on Friday. So excited for my boy Fulgrim. If you did not get to see that interview 2 weeks ago, sorry, it is on the YouTube channel with Darius. Great interview, great kid. This guy is in a big fight, and it's 50-50 in my opinion. I really, really think he's got a shot to win this, but he's got
the odds are pretty much 50-50 as well.
Are they really? Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Well, I'm not that glad. I really was kind of hoping I'd get some money on him and I could put it on, but
there's a little bit of plus money on him. There's like,
ooh, hell yeah,
like plus 125 or plus 150, something like that.
Shit, I'll take it. But yeah, so we'll be talking about that. Hopefully, maybe we can hear from Fulgrim too later this week. But yeah, Abe, you want to give out the socials?
Yeah, at Abe G Boxing on X, Instagram, TikTok, at Abe G Boxing. I'm sorry, Abe G718 on those, at Abe G Boxing on YouTube. Fights ATW is the website, Fights Around the World. And just to give you a little nugget for your show tomorrow, Xander Zayas versus Jorge Garcia for the vacant WBO junior middleweight title on July 26th. Theater at Madison Square Garden will likely be announced very soon. So just a little nugget for you for tomorrow.
I appreciate you, champ. That's big, big, big time, bro. We all been waiting on Zayas, and oh man, that kid, I cannot wait to see the rest of his development. But that has been the show. Until next time, we appreciate everybody tapping in. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. Until next time, peace.